Hey everyone, in New York City. Tonight I have a special guest. All the guests are special. And her name is Emme. She is a brand builder, an award winning cultural icon, executive leadership coach, and consultant. Her personal list of accomplishments also includes supermodel, positive body image icon, and TV personality. Named in 2018 by Oprah Magazine as the godmother of the full figure industry, a TEDx presenter, Emme has twice been selected to People Magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People, and Ladies Home Journal chose her as one of the most important women in America. You can contact Emme and read more about her amazing career and life accomplishments at emmestyle.com, and we'll put that information up in a little bit. So join me and find out more about my efforts to educate and save lives. You can find me at HPV Alliance. And without further ado, we're going to introduce Emme. Hi, Emme.
Hello. How are you? Let me turn this light a little bit brighter.
Yo.
Great. Hey.
Nice to see you.
So nice to see you. What a treat.
Oh, it's a treat for me. It's a treat for all the viewers, and the producers were excited. We're really excited about it. So
I just got back from a workout, so I have wet hair, which is fine. We're pretending we're in the summer.
Oh, I have a t-shirt on under this. I run hot all the time.
That's good. That's so good. Hi. So this is really lovely. I'm so happy to join you and to raise awareness for all that you're doing. Really, it's important.
Oh, it's not about me. This is about you, but thank you. Thank you so much. This is all about you. I wanted to find out, tonight's episode is what are you drinking, a martini?
Yes.
Wow, okay. That's awesome. This episode is billed as how you got from no to a big whopping yes. And I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about some of the things you've spoken about, igniting your magnificence, your inner magnificence. How did you break the mold, and how did you become the pioneer? And we'll continue. I have more questions.
Well, it's timing has so much to do with everything coming to the surface, or if there's an initiative, or if there's a collective spirit, there's a collective thought. When you think of something, and Lillian, you're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then a week later, you're like, oh, someone just did this. It's that collective consciousness. So back in the 90s, when I got into the modeling industry, it was 89 actually when I got into the modeling industry, and I was not interested to be a model. I was a reporter for NBC in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I wanted to be a sports anchor. And then I realized that news and sports announcing was not what I wanted to do for years and years and years. And when I came back to New York City, my very dear friend's brother was dating a full-figured model, and I was like, okay, I have no idea what that means. And I was an athlete. I was invited to Olympic trials for rowing and all that. So the crazy thing is that I just never wanted to lose weight. Well, let me back up. When I was growing up in the household that I was in, I was always told that I had to keep my weight down. My body was going to not disappoint me, but fool me. And there was a lot of restriction with food and all that. But when I got into the athleticism, I understood that my body was really meant to move and jump. And I was born with a ton of energy. So getting into speaking out and using my voice, I was a curious person because I was a reporter. And then when I said, one lunchtime as a marketing director, let me just take a chance on this one particular agency. Let me see what they're looking for. And I went on my lunchtime, and that was really it. And then I moved over to Ford Models, and then they did such a great job. And then I worked with William Morris, and I did Revlon. I did all the TV shows and went into different avenues to just speak what I was hearing. I was sharing what I was hearing from other women. And it wasn't just in this country, it was all over the world. And let's not fool ourselves. I had one of the best publicists, Sarah Hall Productions. She really did a good job because a lot of people said no to her. They did not want to give me the light of day. And she was, well, because I was a disruptor.
Yes.
Totally disrupting what beauty was being built on. And these poor models, now people are like, oh, poor models, you must be kidding. Well, if you're from an Eastern Bloc country and all your family lives in one room, and you happen to be the golden goose, and you have looks to you, and you're lanky and you're tall and you're size 0, well, you got pushed out and you were told to go to America, become a model, and send all the money home. And a lot of the women that are in straight size modeling, if it's very rare to have someone that's naturally size 0, 6 feet. There are women that exist like that, but a lot of women really had a very, very hard time. So when I came onto the market, a lot of women that were killing themselves to stay at a size 0, a lot of the models, as well as women in general. I mean, a lot of women would look at me and say, how can you be happy? How can you be that happy?
Wow.
Yeah. There were a lot of cool exchanges. It felt like, I say this sometimes, when you're driving down the highway and you have a convertible and the windshield is right there and your hair is flying behind you. When you're first in on something and you just happen to really go with your heart. And I felt when I was in that 94 People magazine, the story that I shared was one that was mine, yes, but it was reflective. The feeling, the tone, and the genuine, real story that I was sharing connected with men and women here in the country and all over the world. And it was really a very unique and really cool opportunity. I had no idea. Obviously, you have no idea when something like this happens. I tell kids all the time, when opportunity knocks, how many times have we, Lillian, walked away from an opportunity because we're like, oh, a better one will come.
Right.
I'm like, you walk through and don't even doubt yourself, even though you've never been a CEO before. Those CEOs have been a CEO for the first day. All of them.
Sure.
All of them.
That's right. That's exactly. That's great. You're very positive, and it's transcended into what you're doing now and all through your life. And I know we talked behind the scenes. Both of us had health crises and how we handled it. Right. I don't know if you want to share anything about that.
I have a good news to share that my doctor, Dr. Gregory Mears, he and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and I had lymphatic cancer, and I had 22 tumors taken out of my chest the size of bananas, which was not in my chest, on my chest. And I went through it all. I went through chemotherapy and all that. And you had to go through certain benchmarks. Once you hit 5 years, yes. Once you hit 8 years, okay. But that first 6 months, first year, second year, you're like, each time you got a PET scan. And then it's been quite some time. So my last treatment was in, October 2007. And I'm clear and I've not had any issues. Thank God. And he said, you're healed. So
that's awesome. Well, I don't have a drink, but congratulations.
I don't have this tonight. This isn't celebration. This is fun.
Good for you. On that same note, today I went for my CAT scan. Now I'm 3 years out, so I have 2 more years to go. When I'm 5 years out. So
wonderful.
Yeah. Now I think early next year I'm going to start focusing on what I'm doing. But I've had a lot of fun interviewing people like you, and
I'm so happy for you. This is so great. That's exciting, and it's this is such a story of hope. So many people who are suffering with what you had, and you can tell them that you could get to the other side.
Right. And one of the things that was very similar to what both of us experienced was the doctors we went to see were like, no, nothing's wrong. And
Oh,
both you and I persisted.
yes, for 5 years. I had to go. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So
Five.
tell me, so you modeled for, obviously you modeled for a long time, and then you, I mean, what's one of your greatest stories, and one of your, wherever you were?
One. There's so many wonderful. I to fall into modeling the way I did, and it not being something that I really really wanted to do, but it was all about timing. I had to be a reporter, understand what the reporters that were asking me questions wanted to know. I needed to be comfortable in front of the camera, and so whenever I was able to communicate and to reflect an image that was not seen. I mean, I'm 5'10" and 3/4. I've always said I'm 5'11", but I'm 5'10" and 3/4. I went into the industry as a 12, 14. I'm a 14, 16 now, 25 years later. But that was, I mean, that's normal. That's really normal. A 12, 14 at 5, that's very not normal. It's very average. But wow, did it cause a stir. So when I was on a billboard for Liz Claiborne, the first full-figured billboard ever in Times Square, my family threw a party in the Marriott right next door.
Yeah.
So there was an open window, and it was so much fun. It was fun to celebrate the firsts and to celebrate with everyone, because it wasn't just me. It was all of my agents. It was all my publicists, my modeling bookers. Everyone was involved in having this happen. We all believed that there needed to be a change. And then I kept on saying, we need more diverse colors and hues of this toupee. I mean, hello, we need women that were older and younger, and there's a junior full figure, there's an athletic curvy, there's an older woman that
Right.
predominantly always had the boxy kind of thing. But unfortunately, a lot of companies went out of business because they didn't understand that there was a sexy curvy and there was an athletic curvy. There was a younger curvy. There was this body type that was trying to fit herself in that last size and Missy.
Yes.
And no matter what she tried to do, she was like, well, then it's me. Then I'm bad. And I'm like, no, there's 3 different body types, girl. So there was a lot of conversation. And then I said, it also is, as for the woman who is that ectomorph, the tall and angular, who naturally is very thin, she has to work really hard to keep weight on her. And women who were more the endomorphic, we had to really work on, okay, what foods really work well for me? What is nutritious? What's healthy exercise or lack thereof or too much of? And for all of us as women and people, our bodies are like dogs. They need to go out and get walked.
Oh, yes.
That's the last thing, right? To get
Absolutely.
and we have to drink really good water on a regular basis. We've got to feel good about ourselves instead of body bashing ourselves. So there was a lot of really cool communication every step and every year along the way. But the billboard was fun. People Magazine those 2 issues were just fabulous. And working with Scavullo and Albert Watson, I think. No, Arthur Algord. And there was quite a few that I just loved the art that was done on me. I wasn't in control.
Yeah.
I was just there to be amused. And
Right.
fun.
I feel that you were very confident before you got into modeling, and then doing so
I was
that
old.
Huh?
I was old. I was
Well,
26. No,
yeah.
but, as a model, I was older. So I also didn't.
Older for then, but going through it, you've become. I feel like you've gotten I think it's helped in every which way as
Oh,
far as,
yeah.
you know, confidence and where you're at. And
Well, hopefully women started to take a look at themselves in a better and kinder way. That was really whatever I was talking about. I just was done with feeling poorly about what my body was doing. I was really sold a bit of goods that, I had to constrict and I had to restrict and I had to, be aware. And, my body is my best friend. I can really say that today. And that is the message that I have. I probably till you have to kick me into my grave. It's the vehicle.
sure is.
Talk to you. I get to eat delicious food that my daughter's making right now. I get to walk and sweat and see and hike in beautiful forests and wear wonderful clothes and be around with friends and kick back with the fire or whatever. But my body gives that to me.
Right.
Done with body bashing.
100%. I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
there's so many, icons right now, like Lizzo. I mean, there's so many, right?
And Wilson, I just listened to Rev. I love Lizzo. I love, 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 love Lizzo. I just love her. I love her. I love that what she stands for. I love that she uses her voice. I love that she's proud of who she is and she sings from the depth of her soul in so
Yeah.
many different ways. And obviously, it's not about size. It's about her as a full, wonderful woman. I love Rebel Wilson, and I just listened to a podcast. No, she was doing a live stream about her healthy 2020 and what she went through with just kind of breaking it down for herself, where she was not going to do conventional pills and shakes and junk like that. She was just going to get down and dirty and figure out like what's healthy. And she loves her curves, and she's done a lot over a year. And she goes, the key for me is regularly walking. And I was like, girl, that is a joy. If you
Yeah.
don't get too crazy, seriously, and you learn what foods really work for you and all foods are permissible, right? But there's certain foods like having bonbons all the time. You got to be like, I can have that sometime. If you say I can never have that, that's where all the problems go
Sure.
crazy.
Then yes, you start eating in the middle of the night when no one's watching you. I know. I myself, I love pizza, and our mutual friend Lisa knows that. I'm
Yeah.
always on the hunt for a good pizza. But I think the message is, as far as that, is to just be consistent, whether you're walking or biking or, it's just consistent.
Being active. Just
Right.
take the dog out. I'm taking the dog out. Really, have fun with it and don't get too down and dirty with guilt and shame and body bashing. And because when you don't do it to yourself, you won't do it to others.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What when you finished modeling, what did you go into? What are you doing now?
So, I got into more hosting and appearances and experts consulting and that type of thing. I always will probably be in different ways involved in TV. I really love the vehicle of communication, and when done properly, it is very effective. Sensational stuff doesn't interest me. It doesn't work I just feel so uncomfortable. So when I can be able to help individuals now with the coaching, so I'm now doing life coaching. I'm an executive leadership coach,
Yeah.
I'm a wellness coach, and so I'm going into my associates coaching accreditation.
That's wonderful.
I got those 3 things from my schooling, and I sat back and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I did a Facebook Live for 90 days with a really sweet group of people that different people from around the world will be checking in, but there was a really tight-knit group. And we were reading it was every day, literally every single day for 90 days. We read the 4 Agreements. We read Gabby Bernstein's book, and she popped in to say hi one morning. And we were like, ah! We had Don Ruiz Miguel retweeted something that we were doing, and everybody was like, I cannot believe this. So when we got to Brene Brown's book, Dare to Lead, the last book that we were reading, Glennon Doyle's book we were reading after that. But when I read it out loud to everybody, and we were all asking questions, and then we did meditation after, and I had music. So I have a list of music for meditation. If anybody wants it, just let me know, because I can send you the link, and you can share it with the gals and guys that are checking in. But it's very deep and gets you grounded. You could play it throughout the house or the apartment during the day, so that you just kind of keep it nice and chill. But I woke up one morning and I said, well, how am I going to do what I do? I need, my whole year got completely clean. I was doing appearances and lectures all over the place, and I was clipped. My wings were clipped. So I just sat back and I said, well, what is it that I really love to do? And I love mentoring. I love doing the consulting, and that is always fun. But I always wanted to coach. Well, I thought I knew how to coach, and then I went to school. I had to take my brain out and put it on in a different way. And I'm really, 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 I love what I do. I love what I do. And so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Wow, you could see on it. So you went to school for how long for this?
So I'm still in school. I've been taking, so one course is 6 months. My advanced course is another 6 months. And in between those two I did a dual, I took double courses so that I did a lot of work. We had the time, and I said, I am going to be damned if I don't leave this pandemic with at least something that has shifted inside of me, that has made me more improved, something I can offer.
Yeah, that's great.
Because we all got hit in the face with this damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the group that I'm working with, we're busy. I mean, they keep us busy. So I've been taking quite a few courses, the business course and the mentor. Right now I'm in a mentoring course and the advanced course. So it's going to be another 5 months till I'm done with everything, and I'll have an accreditation from the gold standard, the International Coaching Federation.
Oh, that's awesome. And so what is your specialty with the coaching? I mean, any specialty, any types of special issues?
Yeah. Low-hanging fruit is body image and self-esteem. That is emmewellness.com is my site, and it's all the imagery comes from the red rocks of Sedona and Antelope Canyon and all that. Emme Style is actually my other site, so emmewellness.com is where people will find the information that we're just talking about right now. And there's a link there that will take you to my bio. That's all the celebrity stuff, but we're talking about emmewellness.com. Exactly. So there's if anybody wants to be able to get a hold of me or have a 30-minute introductory coaching session with me, only serious inquiries would be great, because I've had some interesting meetings. Hey, how you doing? No, this is a professional site.
Yeah, once you have a platform, you really have to weed these people out. I know.
It's not actually been good, but it's been funny. It's actually been very interesting. But I'm working with a good group of people, very diverse, and I'm very interested in working with athletes, professional athletes that are going from active to inactive, and also the athletes that are using their bodies as activist tools for the country, really. What they're going through and how they're standing up and using their voice. There's a different kind of coach that I'd like to be able to provide some support for them. yeah, men, males, females, it doesn't matter. So I'm interested in a nice array of things. It's reflective of my background. I was an athlete, I understand, and also going from working around the world all the time and having your life kind of shift into more of a normalized situation. I think that's very, very helpful to work with athletes that are getting out of the limelight.
I just thought about, I have somebody who works with athletes. He actually wrote a book. It's some type of a mind game. Oops, I'm sorry. Anyway, he works with athletes, and I'm going to introduce you to him because I think that's going to be a very good introduction.
Thank
What
you.
would you, what would you, what would you say for tips? Any tips for any people that, like a common theme of people that you see? Any tips you can offer for with everything you've been through? It doesn't have to be about body confidence.
Oh, no.
Just
well,
general.
If we can be really good with loving our body, and I mean seriously looking after the sister.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like blessing her, doing the oil bindi after a shower, making your oil nice and warm. Seriously. Taking your vitamins and going and getting your checkups and not denying her sleep and forming a friendship with yourself in such a deep and meaningful way. All that's going to flow around you. It just is. And when mama's not happy, guess what? The whole family isn't happy. When mama's not happy, the friends aren't happy. So if there's ways that you might need therapy or you might need a good coach. And some people who are in therapy need coaching and some people who are in coaching need therapy. So you got to figure that out. A therapist is really well trained with really going back into the past and unboxing, unpacking, and going there very, in a very well-trained way and not just in years of, learning how to coach. Coaches take you from this moment on and want to propel you to the future. We believe that you are completely in charge of your own life. You're the expert. I'm the one that's curious there, just, being the wind beneath your wings and also being an accountability tool. So you're paying me really good money. Really good money. It's all up front. So if you want to get something done, I'm going to help you, partner with you to go and get those steps. And you're going to tell me what it is that you want to do. And everyone's like, aren't you going to just tell me what to do? I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And we get that over and done with in the 30-minute call because some people are like, oh my God, I really know what to do. I go, oh, you have no idea. Lillian, not one session, not one. And I've done almost 100 now of my own. Not one session have I walked away saying, God, that really was hard. That stunk. That really was not fun. Yeah. They were, oh God. It's a miraculous thing. So yes, we all know what to do. Yes, we all have the answers. And it's not my job. I could tell you what I did, but that's not going to help you because it's what I did.
Right.
What you did, what you're going to do is all about you. So sometimes we do have to go back. If you as a client want to go backwards and talk a little bit about this, I like to break up beliefs, take them and put some over here and say, okay, whatever's left over, how are we going to dress it so that it gets up to speed with who you are today, where you want to go? So when we try and unbox certain beliefs about ourselves, about our capacity, about our passion and about our vision, it's all possible. But it all starts from here. It all starts with our own self-esteem. And when you get that all aligned, there is no stopping you. There's no stopping you.
That is fantastic. I often think about what you just said in the way of, well, if your best friend comes to you for advice, you would give them, the most encouraging, helpful. You need to be your own best friend, right?
Yeah, you do. And when your best friend does come to you, the best tip that I could ever give anyone, and I am I am always learning this. This is where I need to work the most in my friendships, because I realize how little I was doing this one thing, listening
Oh,
and
that's a big deal for me.
shutting it
That
up.
that is a very big deal for me, listening. That's a whole other topic, because I don't know what's up with the society today with the ADD. I don't know. I don't know if it's ADD, but I'm like you. I'm very curious, and I like to listen and ask questions, and not 100%. Not That's a skill.
Yeah. I think
That's a skill.
a lot of people don't, when I'm in session, and I warn everybody about this. I said, there's going to be time in between you speaking and my next question, because I'm really listening to you. And I need to breathe a bit, and I need to allow what you're saying to me come deep inside where I am, so I can catch something, a
Sure.
nuance on a movement, a nuance on where your energy goes down, and figure out, like, and acknowledge when you are having a breakthrough. So, and it's uncomfortable for some of the folks when they first start coaching. They're like, well, are you there? Are you frozen? I go, no, no, no. And sometimes when you allow someone to have the space being honored by another person who really is listening to you, there's like this freedom. And then all of a sudden, a thought might freely just go boop, and then you express it, and then there's that answer. A lot of us are growing up from families where the mom and the dad, if you're lucky enough to have a mom and a dad in a household, are working their butts off. And there's very little time where everyone's in the house, except for right now. This is very, very tough for so many people, but this is an unbelievable reset button for
Yeah.
connection that we were thirsting and starving for, I believe. I believe.
You couldn't have said it better. I mean, to me, and anybody that has never heard you speak, or knew of you, it seems like you have it. Not seems, you have it right on the bullseye. You really do. You have a great appreciation for everything, and you're very in tune with yourself. I mean, can I ask you, were you always this good of a listener, this good of a, or has this all emerged in the last few years? Loaded question.
Well, no, I was not like this many years ago. And I'm sure that I really pissed some people off. I mean, truth be told, I think that it has been a series of being human and getting back on the horse and having rejection and going, okay, what can I learn from this? Right. And not shutting down and giving up about life, or giving up with your dreams. Yeah, I've been blessed to have a lot of energy, and some people really are just like mad that you can be happy despite, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of people that are afraid to be happy. It's so easy to be happy for me. I lost my mom when I was 15. I really have seen so many different things in my life and I've had cancer knock on my door, and I survived that shit. So I'm like, nothing is going to be really that bad, even though it can get pretty darn bad and horrible. Like, I just wash my hands, keep my mask on, and that's all my responsibility is, and not to gather at big gatherings, and, let me just take care of that. But this is pretty bad. This time is really, I mean, in our lifetimes, would we have ever thought that we'd be going through something like this? So I choose to just, I want an interview. So it's I see this time, I've really peeled it back to go, what can I do that I'm going to walk away and I'm going to be counting my blessings. I mean, I've never been able to walk as much as I've done, and I've got to force myself to get out there. I'm meditating now almost every day, not every day, but almost every day. And that sucker just gets me right here, right there. And yeah, so.
Well, you're very aware. There's a lot of people that are not aware. I think your attitude is awesome. I think people that, I've had cancer, you had cancer, and my doctor said to me that my attitude was so positive that there was no doubt that it
No
helped
doubt.
me through, because my attitude, I was like, okay, we're going to get rid of this. And I just one foot in front of the other. I don't have time to sit and cry and complain. No, this is the treatment. This is how it's going to be. And when we're done, we're going to have a big party. And that's what I kept my eye on.
You're
I had some
from the twins. You're like a triplet. Honest God.
Yes, I went with them as
these girls.
I went with them as a triplet to Montreal for a triplet festival. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
Oh
but,
my
yeah,
God.
that was years ago. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Funny.
You can imagine. I know. Yeah. So I'm not going to keep you from your delicious dinner that your daughters have made for you, but it's really been a pleasure to talk to you, Emme. You're an inspiration. And, I think you're right. Even, now, like, anything goes. You don't have to be 18 and a waif. There's everything.
Then embrace that. If you are, embrace that sucker. And if you're medium size, embrace that sucker. And if you're larger, embrace it, girlfriends. All of us. We make ourselves happy and healthy along this journey. Because if we were all the same, we would be very bored.
That's right.
Seriously, very bored. If we only had one flower in this world, and it was a tulip, right? A red tulip. And we knew there were all these other flowers, but we were only allowed to have one. We've been given a bouquet of beauty. Bouquet.
Yeah.
Dark, rich, chocolatey to white, pale, freckled, and all in between.
Yes, you're right. And that's very well said by you, Emme, the coach at Emme Wellness, emmewellness.com. Yeah, I really appreciate. Thank you for coming on. Everybody's excited to hear from you, and anyone can make sure you know what you want when you contact Emme. Emmewellness.com.
Emme.wellness is on Instagram. So Emme.wellness on Instagram.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Emme. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. You are an inspiration.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Emme. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. I have another great couple of episodes, and I am going to be focusing on my platform, which is HPV. You can find me at HPV Alliance, and we will see you next week. Have a great week. Stay positive. Wear your mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Take care. Bye.